Hey, good morning. So it's Tuesday, January 18th, and we have to sit in front of this camera for 10 minutes and do a stream of consciousness every morning. And I'm exhausted. I've been traveling to Thailand. I have not gotten proper sleep. I'm still jet lagged. I'm always tired anyway, but this is extreme. Um, I've got to leave for Costa Rica in a couple of days. So Thursday morning, like 6:30 a.m. I got to leave the house to get to Costa Rica. That'll be, I don't know, 7 or 8 hours of travel. Um, and there's a lot going on with, the Crown House. It's hard to get sleep here because people are always talking and stuff and carrying on. Um, I've got to, before I go, I've got to raise my month-end bills. So, I'm a full-time missionary. I've got to come up with money. So this month it's $2,500. We've already come up with some money. Some money's donated already. Every month I've got to raise $4,000 to keep my end of the machine moving, pay for my motorcycle, all that stuff. My motorcycle's behind by a couple months at this point. So Harley's probably looking to repossess my bike. I need to raise some money. So I make donor calls. I call donors and say, hey, listen, thank you for donating. Please continue to do it every month. And just check in with them, see where they're at, and what they think of the content we're producing. And then we shoot a lot of video, edit a lot of video. I've been doing a lot of that. So I'm just, it's just stress at the end of the month whenever there's money issues. It's not money issues. It's just every month it has to happen, and it does happen. And the Lord blesses it, but it is work that I stress about. The house is also full of people, which is frustrating for me because I really have enjoyed my space for the last year. And so having people around, even though I love them and they're my family and my friends, I cannot stand having people in the house. I hate it. Like I want some space so friggin' badly. It's not funny. I want to go to the beach, but now we're like 22 minutes from the beach, which makes it this long ordeal to get there. And it costs fuel, and I don't know. It's another ordeal. So I end up being on the road, burnt out, like getting burnt out and burnt up, physically on the road, and then not really getting any rest when I get here. We constantly have stuff that we're attempting to do and shoot, and people who are attempting to do things, and they're a creative force. These guys are a creative force in my life. So I'm glad that they're there, but yeah, it makes it tough. I feel like there's no rest at all in the houses. And that's what I wanted. I wanted a house that was very much, lively party atmosphere. I may move my butt back out to the camper. If I could run some proper power out to the camper, I'd move my butt out to the camper because at least it's like quieter there. And I can turn on that air conditioner. You can't hear anything. The house is full of music and life and people, and that's exactly what I wanted. And I appreciate that. I'm glad about that, but I'm sick of it too. I need some rest, be it ever so humble. There's no place like home, and home is where I need to be able to rest and recuperate for these trips. Because, I am an extrovert. I do enjoy being around people, but it is also extremely exhausting to be out and about, riding motorcycles, patching up people who go down and are bloody, dealing with kids in the background yelling and screaming, which that's what kids do. So, yeah, I get exhausted on the road, man. Exhausted on the road, and coming home, I need a peaceful spot. We've talked about getting a house on the beach, and I cannot wait to do that because I really need the beach. Like the waves are just, it's like sonic mind resetting kind of stuff. It's great. I love everybody in the house. Kink is obviously a filmmaker. He's somebody who's been hugely helpful to me in my creative process, and helpful in creating the YouTube channel and coming up with ideas. I'd like to see him produce more, but there's then you've got Elijah was the next one to move in. Elijah's awesome. He's just very upbeat and positive. We give him a lot of crap because he comes off with a lot of stuff that sounds silly a lot of times. And, so we probably harass him more than he deserves. And then Seth has been pretty cool so far. I don't know Seth at all. He's a club brother. I know him, I know of him, but we've never spent any time together. So it's going to be interesting seeing how our relationship is, how that works out, what his reaction to actually living with me or around this lifestyle is. Travis is back, which is great. You know, obviously we've been waiting on him to get a lot of elements of the show, or at least Kink's been using him as an excuse to get a lot of elements of the show together. And you know that brings Jamie back. You're always curious what will happen with those two. So yeah, I you know, God only knows. I'm freaking tired. Tomorrow's going to be another exhausting day. I'm still jet lagged. I've got to get everything packed tomorrow. So this is what's on my mind. Like, I've got to raise $2,500 today, and I've got to, you know, pack my bags for Costa Rica today. I've got to get everything done, because I can't get on an airplane and have my family, my kids, not have food and you know, place to stay. You know, so that's right at the top of my list of things that stresses me out right now today. Have we hit 10 minutes yet? This is only 5 minutes and 51 seconds. That's the stuff that really bothers me. Also, we need some drumsticks, and there's so much that we need. The guys are all sleeping on the floor. There's just so much to be done. And I feel a lot like a dad who's not taking care of either his real children or his spiritual children. You know, I brought everybody down here, but we're barely surviving. But the Lord's provided. You know, I can't say that. The Lord has provided, and it's very often right at the last moment, and we're struggling to make ends meet in every way. And every time that somebody gives money and donates to the Crown House, and you know, that's like it pushes off disaster for another few days, gives us a few days of space to create more content. I've got tons and tons and tons. This is another thing that really stresses me out. I've got tons and tons and tons of content that needs to be created. I mean, literally tons of content. I've shot so much video, and it just needs to be edited and put out there for the world to see. And it's cool stuff. It's stuff that's a lot of fun. It's stuff that I think you guys will like. But it's hard to get it all edited and put out there. Like, you know, it's really tough. It takes a lot of time, and the volume that we'd like to produce is not where we're at. We're producing a lot of video, but telling the stories and getting the videos out there, that's where the hard part is definitely happening. So that's where I'm at with that. Yeah. So yeah, I did have a new donor call tonight with somebody who has donated. It's been years ago. He donated into the club for my needs. And so he and his wife have a giving plan, which was cool to hear that they do that. They've got like 4 kids now. So talking to him was encouraging. He also gave me a couple of names of other people that I know that I've never reached out to, that I want to tell this story to about what we're doing. And he's like, hey, they may even support you too, which would be amazing. So, you know, those are how we pursue paying for all this stuff and creating what we're doing with the Crown House. Are we anywhere near 10 minutes? Oh my goodness. It is so much stuff to say for 10 minutes. Where are we at? Let me talk about my love life. That would be interesting. So, you know, I'm going through a divorce, and the divorce is nearly final. It costs a lot of money. I don't have the money to complete the divorce. If my ex wants to fight it, it could be a problem. We're just trying to get to an agreement. I think we've reached agreement. And so, you know, I've been asked by the club to make sure that I don't talk about that as much as possible. I've been asked to not date, and certainly not date publicly, not put anything on film that is related to that. I can respect that because that's my position. You know, that's what I have to do. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. I think a lot of pieces of my life that people are not comfortable seeing on film, we may start putting on film. So we've talked about drinking or smoking or things, you know, that hitherto I've not put on film. I'm not smoking anymore. I do occasionally have a drink of alcohol. Every other day. But you know, I think we're looking at beginning to film those kind of things. You know, it's been where if somebody walks into the room with a camera, you hide your beer behind the couch real quick, because You don't want to offend anybody out there that may have an issue with drinking, and you don't want to be like, oh yeah, I drink and it's cool, so that you can drink too. If somebody else needs to not drink, then we don't want to stumble them. So we may change some of our philosophy around that. We're talking about that. It's a conversation we're in right now. I don't know where that'll go. But anyway, this is the Daily Log. I am James Disciple Johnson. This is the Crown House. It's February 19th. It's February 19th, 2019. And this is the Crown House Daily Log.